Are you struggling with this banding issue when you're trying to make your videos? Well, I'm going to show you how to resolve that in a couple of easy steps. So firstly, why are you getting that problem? Well, it's caused because the shutter speed of your camera or your phone, whatever you're using, is out of sync with the frequency of the LED lights that you're shooting under. So when we're filming, as I've shown you in other videos, we're using proper video lights and they do not give that issue. When you've got your strip lights in your factory or in your office, they're obviously not up to the same kind of spec because they don't need to be on the whole. They just need to produce a nice light so everyone can see what they're doing. So you may see a similar issue if you're filming around your place and there's a computer screen or a TV screen on. You'll sometimes get that banding showing on there. And it's basically caused by the same thing. It's the refresh rate of that screen being out of sync with the shutter speed on your camera. Now, I'm not going to go into too many technical details here. I'm just going to give you some easy solutions. So firstly, if you're seeing that and you're making a video inside your office, for example, ideally turn off those LED lights and you're going to get rid of the issue. Now, of course, you're going to need some form of light in there. So perhaps you bring in some video lights or you're going to use some natural daylight coming in through the windows. But of course, you need to have light in there. But those lights that are on in the office are what are causing that banding and that horrible look, that flickering that you're seeing. That's the first thing. Try and close them off if you can. It might be that if you just close off the ones that are directly above you, you will reduce the impact and the people down at the other end of the office can keep their lights on. You might still see it slightly, so ideally it's best to turn them all off, and that's what we try and do when we go in for a shoot. Now, the other option, if that's not possible, is that you need to be able to manually control the shutter speed on your camera or your phone. So if you're shooting on a camera, then you can flick it to manual mode and you can control the shutter speed. Again, I'm not going to get into the depths of what the shutter speed is and what effect it has, but if you think about taking a still image, when you open and close the shutter, there's a speed at which it opens and closes. So if we open and close it at a slower speed, it lets more light in and that produces a brighter image. So you should just know that as you increase the shutter speed, you're going to let in less light and that's going to give you a darker image. Now we can go into a lot more of that if there's a call for it. I'm happy to make a video about how we then balance that with aperture and ISO and all the rest of it. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to say that to balance out the flickering issue that you're getting, you're going to need to play with the shutter speed. So as I say, manual mode on your camera, or if you're shooting on your phone, then we recommend downloading the Blackmagic app, and that's going to give you full manual control of your shutter speed. So we'll put a link to that in the comments below. So once you've got the app installed, we'll show you a little screen recording here. You can actually adjust the shutter speed. Now, because you're probably shooting at 24 frames a second, the rule is that your shutter speed needs to be a minimum of double your frame rate. So that means that for a frame rate of 24 frames per second, your shutter speed needs to be a minimum of 1/48th of a second. So effectively, the number at the bottom has to be a minimum of twice the number of your frame rate. So to get rid of the flickering issue, you can increase your shutter speed. So start increasing the shutter speed until you get rid of that flickering issue. Now, it is going to have some subtle effects on the way your footage looks, but I think for the purposes of what you're doing and getting going, it's going to be absolutely fine. So there you go. There's two ways that you can get rid of this flickering issue if that's causing you a problem. I hope that helps. Let me know in the comments below if you would like to go more in depth into any of that, or if you have any questions, just give us a shout and we'd love to help out. See you next time.